I have this idea that I want to create objects for a non-existent religion, I guess you would say. I'm creating the objects that go with that. They reference historical objects, but they're not recreations of historical objects. Like, for instance, I'm doing a stained glass window, but I'm not making a traditional stained glass window. I'm making a contemporary stained glass window based on more historical work. I started to develop this iconography and did a series of paintings to reference early pre-Renaissance Christian paintings. I used a technique that they use where it was glazing, where you use oil paint and you layer colors on top of colors, washes of oil paint to create this inner luminosity, this inner glow, because I wanted to give it a historical reference. I think I was 18 years old. I just finished my first year of college. I was at my parents' house. I was in the downstairs rec room and I was standing with a high school friend. As I was talking to him, just suddenly for a brief moment, I had this incredible hallucination that lasted for what seemed, it could have been an eternity, but it was probably just 1 second. And it seemed as if I had left the room where I was, although I was aware of the fact that I was still standing in the room, but I wasn't in the room anymore. I was somewhere else, and I was in this endless space. And in the middle of this space were these two blue circles that were parallel to each other, but a little bit askew. And it was so strong and powerful, and then I was not there anymore. I found the image to be incredibly beautiful, and it almost seemed as if it was conscious in a way, which seems kind of weird, but it wanted me to see it. I mean, I had that stamped in there, but it was just a black book like this with blank pages in it. I was like, oh my God, that's perfect. For me, the research is the core of the exploration. I have like almost 2,000 pages of research trying to interpret what that symbol meant. I think I have the original drawings here. In school, I started doing posters for a club called the Love Club in Philadelphia. The image started creeping into the posters I was doing. I started realizing that I could use the image as part of a greater iconography. I was playing music at the time also. There was a band that was started, the Executive Slacks. And then we put out an EP. Before you know it, one of the songs on the first EP that we put out, for some reason, started getting a lot of play in Belgium, of all places. Then we went on tour. My girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife, we spent 6 weeks driving through Europe. But when we went to Barcelona, I went to the Museum of Catalonian Art. We're looking at these frescoes that they had removed from these small little cathedrals all over Catalonia, and they reproduced them inside this museum. And I went around the corner and I looked in this one, and right at the bottom of one of these frescoes is a drawing on the wall that looks uncannily almost exactly like the first drawing that I did when I was 18 years old. And I looked at it and I was like, are you kidding me? So I started doing a series of work when I moved to New York based on that image. I did a couple of performances where I just I made Xerox sheets of that image, where I would go downtown and just start handing them out to people. And people would get it, they'd look and they go, what is this? And I'd go, I don't really know, I was hoping that you could tell me. I did some billboards in the city. I would take ads out in newspapers, little ads. It got expensive over time, but I thought for some reason at the time that maybe there was someone else that had that experience, or someone else had seen that image. And that maybe if I had gotten it out there, someone one day might go, oh, I had that experience, or oh, I saw that, or oh, I know what that is, but nothing.
Wait, what is it?
I had a hallucination when I was 18, and I'm trying to find out what this is. So if you guys have any ideas, please let me know.
I'll let you know.
I wanted to get back into it because I had gotten distracted for years. I was doing these videos where I was inserting myself in videos, and they were great. People liked them, and I was getting a lot of shows. But I said, you know what? I'm not doing what I really, really want to do. So I wanted to get back to my original passion, which was investigating this thing that happened to me and what it means and all this stuff. So I mounted a show at Pierogi. When I started doing paintings again based on that experience, I hearkened back to when I was originally doing the club posters. And a lot of the club posters that I was doing back then had a lot of these characters that I had created. Like there's a guy in the paintings who's flying through the air and there's gas coming out his backside, and I call him the trumpeter. There's a disembodied hand that points toward the symbol that I call the fickle finger of fate. That was my first step in the water, that show. And now I'm taking it a step further where I actually am trying to create a pseudo temple. I have these vitrines that I've been working on, and the stained glass window and the altar painting that's in there. But there's going to be some video also. I think what I'm doing is a critique. I don't think it's an attempt to create a religion. By using the word pseudo, I mean that literally. I mean it's pseudo. It's not real. If you boil it all down, it means that the world is profoundly more complex than we even have an inkling that it is. That's what I think.